Yo, what is up, everybody? Back again. Y'all already know what
Nail,
it is.
play that shit.
Oh yeah!
Oh man, this man got the background.
You already know, man. Get that money, man. Get that money. Take to the house. Ain't no easy money. Easy money. Well, it should be easy money, but like
Look,
I
knock
said,
on wood, knock on wood.
Look at the rookies we drafted. We got Dean and we got Davis. Two from Florida. It doesn't get better than that shit.
yeah, put that shit up.
As Ricky Bobby said, if you ain't first,
You're
you're last.
Exactly.
Second place is at 2.
Definitely gonna make up for it.
Trust me. I need a sports podcast, man. I need it. We out. What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the I Need a Sports podcast. Long time no see. Busy week last week, so we didn't get an episode in, but we're back again. Talk some NBA. A lot of headlines to talk about. You know, we've gotten a look at what this new NBA looks like with, after the crazy trade deadline. KD on the Suns just had a battle this past weekend with the Dallas Mavericks versus Luka and Kyrie. Lakers without Braun, you called it. They had to start the win streak. The win streak is looking good right now. I think they're the second rated defense in the league ever since the trade deadline. Surprising fashion, the Sacramento Kings are second place in the West now. They have not wavered whatsoever. The Warriors still can't win on the road. They dropped another one yesterday to OKC, despite Curry having 40. So that's kind of crazy to think about. They probably really are done. Memphis, who knows when Ja will be back? I think they just said probably not an hour ago he's going to be out at least the next 4 games. I don't know if that means it could possibly be more or he'll be back after 4 games. But if y'all haven't heard about that incident, dude posted himself with a gun inside the club in Denver, literally hours after they lost to the Nuggets. So how he got that, I don't know. But today came out and said there's going to be no charges pressed. They couldn't find enough evidence. So, hey, he's getting away with one. I hope he can turn things around, but he's currently checked out, taking time away from the team, trying to get his mind right. Hopefully he gets it together. But yeah, man, a lot of NBA action to talk about, catch up on. But what we're going to start off with first is probably the biggest topic this week. And it all started yesterday, ESPN First Take. Kendrick Perkins going at it with JJ Redick over the Nikola Jokic. Should he be MVP? Is it racist by the voters that he is the MVP favorite for the 3rd year in a row? Yada, 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 yada. So we're about to get into this. And Cam posed this question to me yesterday after this came out. And what he said was, do European MVPs get more leeway than American MVPs? I'm going to pass it to him first because I know he's got a lot to say on this topic. Then I'm going to share my 2 cents. But I'm interested to hear what you got to say. He asked me this question, and then he followed up with, "I'm gonna turn into Skip Bayless," and he left it at that. So I don't know what's about to be said on this other end, but I'm gonna swing it to my friend Kim. What you got to say on this?
Nah, man. I think my answer would be a little bit surprising here. I think they do. I think they do. I think they do get a little bit more of a leeway or a look over. But I feel like the only reason that they do is because if you look at the Americans, they always have like some type of help with them. I feel like like say like KD, you always got Steph or Steph always got Clay or LeBron always had like D Wade, so on and so on like that. And you look at these other European guys, they don't really have no one to like really lean on. Like they don't really have like another guy they can pass the ball to or like go get a bucket and this and that. So I mean, yes and no. I'm gonna still go say yes because they can't, they can't keep doing this, and we give them a pass or look over while we killing guys like Harden and it's stuff like
Oh, you
that.
coming over to my side now? This last episode, this was my exact take. Y'all call me crazy.
Nah, like I get it, but it's also like I don't know. I feel like it go hands in hand, but I'm gonna say yes. So
Yeah, and I mean, I don't even necessarily say like we phrase it, politically correct European American MVPs. Essentially, what Kendrick was saying was,
yeah,
Nikola Jokic, even though he's not from America, he's a white male,
yeah,
and why do the voters always give white males certain leeway that some of these other prominent black players don't give them? And I will say this to your first point, I didn't even realize Nikola Jokic has technically never played with the All-Star in these MVP seasons because Jamal Murray's never played well enough at the beginning of the year to make an All-Star team. But at the same time, while I do say that, I would maybe not now since this year, since he's been bouncing back off the ACL, but before the ACL, I think it would be fair to say Jamal Murray was an All-Star caliber player.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah,
Aaron Gordon, I feel like got snubbed this year. He definitely should have been an All-Star, in my opinion. He's having a career year. And honestly, I think even though obviously Jokic makes the team run, I think Gordon is like the X factor that makes that team run. Because nobody expected him to be this good.
It was good, yeah.
Especially after last year where he kind of fell off in the playoffs when they got swept. But he's having a career year, so another All-Star caliber player in my opinion. And then I get he's been plagued by injuries basically since he stepped foot in college. But if y'all don't know or don't remember, once upon a time, Michael Porter Jr. was the number one recruit in the nation for my high school class of 17. He went to Mizzou because his dad coached there. Could have went anywhere, though, but he chose to go to Mizzou, who hasn't had that great of a basketball program since probably like early 2010s. I think back when they had like Phil Pressey and Mark English, and they was competing with my boys in Kansas before they left to the SEC. But Michael Porter Jr. was a dog. Hooped in the AAU with Trey Young on Mo Can Elite. They literally won the Peace Jam that year. Then he goes to college, gets hurt, sits out basically the whole year, tries to come back in the tournament or to make tournament, but it wasn't really the same. Then gets to the NBA. He's been plagued by injuries, missed the season here and there, missed a lot of time. But he's still got supreme talent. He drops in the draft. Denver gets a steal. If he could ever get it together and stay healthy, he's definitely another all-star caliber player, I feel like. But then on the premise that, they do get leeway, it's just like, it's crazy to kind of think, like, even though there's context to everything, the last player to three-peat as MVP was Larry Bird, another white male. We've had Michael Jordan, LeBron, Kobe, Shaq, and it's crazy to think that none of them in all of the great seasons they've had have never three-peated as MVP. And when they do get their first or they get a second MVP, I think Braun has went back-to-back twice, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm getting that wrong.
Times.
But
he was supposed to do it.
He was supposed to. But what happens when they get that second one and the next year rolls around, even though they're playing an MVP caliber level, they'll be like, well, we got voter fatigue. We're not going to give it to him. And it's just like, where's that voter fatigue for Jokic now? Yeah. It can't be, well, he's averaging a triple-double and he's got they got all these advanced analytics now, which was another point. I forgot who I was listening to. I think it was Nick Wright who made a point like, a lot of these new age analytics is made by a bunch of these same white guys who just trying to make up some criteria to back up some of their, opinions. So they got to go advanced here and just kind of making up stats. Yes, Jokic is balling out. He's having a great year. My problem isn't necessarily with this year. My problem is with last year when he got the MVP and he shouldn't have. They gifted him the MVP because he had the Nuggets in the playoffs as a 6th seed in the West. And then proceeded to get swept. Come on. This year, they're first place, and now it's like, oh, it's all Jokic. Like, no, they got a great team. They have the deepest roster in the NBA this year. No questions asked. Last year, it should have been Embiid. This year, you can still make an argument for Embiid, but Jokic is playing at such a high level, you can still make the argument it's him over Embiid. But it's like two MVPs, no real playoff success. But like I said last episode, he doesn't get any of the criticism where it's like, you got to perform and do it in the playoffs. Like, at this point, yeah, you can be the best regular season player, but like, if we're not seeing it in the playoffs, what are we doing here? And in Larry Bird's case, he was winning championships. Granted, I know the Celtics were a great dynasty back then, but he was winning championships at least to back it up. Jokic just made the Western Conference Finals once, which is why I say this year, if he's going to win the MVP, no doubt, when he does, if the Nuggets don't make the Western Conference Finals at least, in my opinion, they really need to make the finals. They first place in the West. They're going to have home court. They got the deepest roster, like I just said. Jokic 3-peat MVP. There's no excuse. I don't care what you say. KD, yeah, he's with the Suns. They're not a deep roster like the Nuggets are, and they still only will have about 20, 30 games of chemistry headed into the playoffs, if that. They can beat them. The Lakers, well, yes, they look good after the trade deadline. Brown is going to be coming back off of injury. We don't know how he's going to be. D'Angelo Russell coming back off an ankle injury. We know AD is one bad move away from an injury. Like, they should still be able to beat them. The Warriors, they can't win on the road. The Clippers, I don't agree with Russ getting all the blame, but they haven't been able to win since he's got traded over there. Sacramento Kings, they're a great young team, but they have zero playoff experience. So that would be the worst if they found a way to lose them if they matched up somehow, some way. But across the board in all of the Western Conference, the Nuggets are the best team, and by the standards of him being a 3-time MVP, which just so happens to be a 3-peat, he is the best player right now. Even though we all know that's Giannis. He deserves some type of criticism for having no playoff success. And that's just how I feel. Kendrick Perkins, I think, was just wrong messenger, somewhat right message. I don't agree with everything he said.
He was off.
Yeah, he was off, but there was some truth to it. He just didn't know how to articulate that. And like I said, he wasn't the best messenger for the job. But like I said, like, think of all the NBA stars we've had. Every time they get a second MVP or even sniff it, people say, well, they just got it last year. Why would we give it to them again? And then when they do get it, then it becomes, well, if they're going to get an MVP, why can't they lead their team to this and that? Why can't they win this game? If Jokic is going to be put on this pedestal, he has to receive the same type of criticism. And I don't think they're going to make the finals. I don't think they might not make the Western Conference Finals. And when they don't, if they don't, he deserves that same type of criticism because there's literally no excuse this year whatsoever. So that's how I feel about it. Yeah, they get more leeway. I'm not even saying it from a race perspective. I'm just literally speaking about Jokic right now. It's like, I don't know what he doesn't really say much. I mean, props to him. He stays out of the media and all that. You never really hear anything about him. But he does have an anger problem. We've seen him take a few shots over the past couple of years. Last year, he knocked Morris out for like 3-4 months when he hit him in the back, blindsided him with a cheap shot. I mean, even Luka's European. He hasn't got an MVP yet, but he's been an MVP favorite for like the last 3 years now. People were saying, he couldn't win a playoff series for the longest when it was just him and he was going up against the Clippers. Now he finally leads them to the Western Conference Finals, and he's still gotten some slack for that because they got dubbed by the eventual champion Warriors. Jokic hasn't even done that yet. He did it in the bubble.
He did it.
But that was when Murray was dropping 50 points a game and brought them back from down 3-1 versus the Jazz. Like, that wasn't – Jokic did, his part, but that wasn't necessarily him. And then one last thing on him, the people bring up, oh, well, he's shooting a legendary shooting percentage. Like, Jokic doesn't even shoot the ball. Like, there's literally games where Jokic will have like 8 shot attempts. Yes, I'm not knocking him for making the correct basketball play, but let's not sit up here and act like, oh, he's just some amazing shooter. No, he's around the rim 70% of the time, and with this post game, he's getting easy layups. And if they double, he kicks it out. But he has team members that can make tough shots. Like, it goes both hand in hand. So, yeah, he deserves a little bit more criticism, in my opinion.
That's respectful. That's respectful. What I feel about with Perkins, the way he was saying it was all wrong. Like, he was saying that if you look at it, the three guys that won, MVPs since 1990 or whatever he was saying, white guys. He was trying to say that those three guys wasn't in the top 10 of scoring. That's his exact words. And it's like, if you look it up, literally all three guys were. So that's why JJ Redick went off on Perkins like that, because he was dead wrong. Like, it was really a false statement. He was trying to say it was facts. So
facts.
That's fact. That's fact. Like, no, it was not. And he was still trying to go on Twitter about it. It's like, bro, you said the wrong words. Like, we get what you're trying to say, but the way you said, like, your exact words is how JJ Redick took it pretty much. And I mean, it was wrong. It was a false statement.
Yeah, it was the wrong message, straight up. He had the right idea, just the wrong message and wrong criteria, false criteria to even back it up. Like you said, those stats weren't even true. It's literally just what I said. Like, yes, Jokic is the MVP this year. I give it to him. Even though Embiid is playing at a legendary level too, and it doesn't really get the credit I think he's deserving of, because he's averaging damn near 33 on great shooting numbers as well, and he's shooting outside the three a lot as well with a high percentage. He also plays great defense. He just doesn't get as many assists, but that's because that's not his game. But he's hitting shots. If you go watch an Embiid game, yes, I'll give you he flops way too much, and I really wish he would tone it down and stay off the ground as big as he is. But a lot of his shots, he's shooting on double and triple teams, and he's knocking it down. And it's like, should he be that skilled at 7'1" to be able to do this and put the ball on the ground like he does and dribble and pull up? But the argument really just is like, if Jokic is gonna be put on this pedestal as a three-peat MVP, he has to back it up with playoff success now. Like, there's no excuse, because we literally, not we, but like the media as is this generation nowadays, literally bashes every player or think of as a top 10, top 15 player if they don't have playoff success. Like, come on, like Jason Tatum, he's not an MVP, but did you see the way the media killed him last year in the finals when he had his turnover problem because he's got to play point guard because the Celtics didn't have one, and he's going up against the Dynasty Warriors? He's not an MVP, but the way people were criticizing, you would think this guy's an MVP, but he's not. That's what it is. Like I said, James Harden, he got one MVP. Was a Chris Paul hamstring? I'll go to the grave saying this. I don't care. Was a Chris Paul hamstring away from upsetting the Warriors? But at the end of the day, he was playing the Golden State Warriors, who have been literally wrecking everybody for the last 10 years, it seems like, in the playoffs. But he still gets criticized like, oh, he's a playoff choke. LeBron, the best player in the game, arguably the best player ever, went to 10 straight finals. We can really be honest and keep it 100. LeBron could probably win about 6-7 MVPs in a row if we were just being really truthful with ourselves and not voter fatigue using that excuse. He literally should have been MVP all of them years because of what he was doing, literally putting the team on his back. But he wasn't. But then when he lost the finals, what did the media do? Tear him down. Oh, he'll never be Mike. He'll never do this, never do that. But he got his team there. He led them. He was the most valuable player. Jokic is the same way, but he has none of the playoff stuff to back it up. So I think it's just time basketball media realize that and just not even like turns their back on. We really should get away, like you said, I think on the last episode, like we really need to get away from doing that where like championships defines all and just appreciate some of the greatness we have in the league today. But quite frankly, we just don't do that. as media, especially social media nowadays. Everybody's got an opinion, whether it's right or wrong, they're gonna share it. So if that's the case, Jokic has to be put with the same, standards. That's how the dice roll. And it is what it is. No hate for him as a player. I'm just saying, like, he deserves some criticism for playoff performance. Regular season, you got it. He's a beast. Literally, I think this year there's something crazy like 24-0 when he's got a triple-double. So that's a crazy stat in itself. But we're not about to sit up here, even though I know he's a center, so it's a little different. Russell Westbrook averaged a triple-double for like 3 years in a row, and he only got one MVP. And he was doing it with nobodies, which is the same reason Jokic got MVP last year. That's what they said. But that's neither here or there. It is what it is. You ready to move to the next topic?
Yeah.
So this topic, we were supposed to film this yesterday. I fell asleep after work. So this one kind of doesn't make as much sense anymore, but they're still hot. But the question was, who's more of a threat in the East right now? The Knicks or the Cavaliers? Now, the Knicks were on a 9-game winning streak, and then somehow, some way, yesterday they lost the game to the Kelly Oubre-led Hornets. So they're no longer the hottest team in basketball. But before that, they were on quite the stretch. Randall hit, I think it was this past Saturday or Sunday. He hit a game winner in Miami, fading three-pointer, got the double bang from Mike Breen, historic call. Then a couple days ago, they go to double OT, beat the Celtics in Boston. Like they've been playing really well since the trade deadline as well, since they acquired Josh Hart. And it's been a argument this week between a lot of sports shows. Like, if they matched up in the playoffs, the Cavs or the Knicks, who do you think wins in a 7-game series? And then, even though we probably all still agree that it's, Bucks, Celtics, 76ers, whichever order you want to put them, those are the top 3 of the East. But could one of these two teams pose a real threat to any of them? So, you can answer the first one. Cavs or Knicks in a 7-game playoff series. I don't. We'll stay away from the home court. I don't know who would necessarily have home court by season end, but if they had to play a 7-game series, who do you think is more suited to win that series?
Man, if we talking about like right now, if I had to choose one, if I had to choose one right now, if the season ended and I had to choose one right now, I go with the New York Knicks, man. I go with the Knicks. I mean, these guys are looking, they balling right now, man. Julius Randle got these guys hooping. Emmanuel quickly hooping right now. I know Jalen Brunson out right now, day to day with that little injury he has or whatever, but he's been hooping. He's been a good compliment to Julius Randle or whatever. Then you got still got RJ Barrett over there. He getting buckets every now and then, even though I feel like he can play a little bit more better. And stuff like that. But man, I mean, Tibbs got these guys hooping. He's playing the way he wants to play. They're playing good defense, and I mean, they just making shots on offensive side. So I mean, if I had to choose one, I go Knicks. I think that series either way, it'll still go like 7 or like 6. So I go Knicks, man.
I kind of agree with you, but at the same time, it just scares me. Because as good as the Knicks are playing, like you said, they're playing lights out right now. Granted, yes, take out yesterday, they weren't playing lights out. But they are playing really good basketball this last month. But at the same time, I just feel like the New York, like how we say the Chargers going to Charger. I feel like the Knicks go Knick. And they make the playoffs, don't mess around and lose, even though they might not have no business losing. Because I've seen it before. Now, I'm not saying it'll happen, but I've seen it before. I don't know how much I can trust this team in the playoffs. But I think Jalen Brunson provides a nice, boost if he can get back healthy. Obviously, he had the deep playoff run last year with the Mavs. I think that will provide them a boost that can get them over. And versus the Cavs, I would, if I had to, like, what my gut tells me, I would go with you. I think the Knicks will beat them in a 7-game series. But I think the Cavs, why they would lose, I just feel like they give me, it feels like Donovan Mitchell is in the same situation that he was with in Utah.
Utah, yeah.
Like, they're a really good team. They can play some really good defense. They got elite rim protectors in Allen and Mobley. In Utah, it was Gobert. They got a nice, backcourt, him and Garland. And Utah was him and Conley and then Clarkson off the bench. But when it comes down to it, I feel like it's going to be Mitchell and none of those other guys you can consistently depend on. Like, I was expecting more from Darius Garland this year. And I'm sure it's probably an adjustment for him, playing with Donovan Mitchell. So I'm not going to completely knock him. But he just hasn't been consistent enough for me. One game he'll have 30. Next game he'll have 8 and be like 2 for 10 from the floor or something. Have some turnovers. Then he'll have a subpar 15-point game. Then there'll be a game where it's like Donovan Mitchell going off for 40, 50. And it's like he just needs a little bit of help, a bucket here or there. And he won't. Darius Garland nowhere to be found. Can't get it. Mobley, while I get, he's a young, promising talent, he's still not, completely there on the offensive end. I'll give him defense. He's great. Jarrett Allen, a great rim protector, but come playoff time, what does he provide you really more than, rim protecting? He's not one that's just going to get all the tough buckets around the hoop. Okoro, he's a nice, solid 3-and-D player. They got Dean Wade off the bench. Cedi Osman, like, they got good pieces and they play great as a team, but I just don't think maybe it's just because it's their first year all together. Maybe next year will be the year. But at least this year, I just don't see them being, that big of a threat. And I think if they match up with the Knicks, I think the Knicks could get them. But like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if the Knicks just randomly, shit down their leg. And then it's like, well, the Knicks are out of the first round of the playoffs again, even though they had a pretty decent year. So that's here or there. But in terms of matchups, though, like them being a threat, either team being a threat to those top 3 teams we named, if Cleveland matches up with Boston, I think it goes 7. Boston will have home court, so it'll be a tough game for them to win in game 7. But you know how sometimes it's not about, who got the better record. It's like styles make fights. The Cavaliers just so happen to have the perfect matchup to compete with the Celtics. And I think they're like 3 or 4-1 versus them this season alone in the regular season. Now, obviously, that's the regular season, but they've had their number all season. And just the other day, Celtics were up. Now, granted, Jason Tatum, Al Horford, and Robert Williams weren't playing this game. But they played in the other ones, and they've still lost. But Celtics were up. Grant Williams gets fouled late. And if you haven't seen the clip, it was actually it was some pretty cool mind games Cleveland was playing with them. So he gets fouled. He steps up to the line. Donovan Mitchell is standing in front of him. And I'm assuming, I don't know what he said exactly, but he's basically telling him, you're going to miss or whatever. Grant Williams looks in his face, and the camera has a clear shot of Grant Williams saying, I'm going to make both of them. Misses the first. And that's when Cleveland starts playing the most mind games ever. Donovan Mitchell steps into the paint. They bring a sub in. Then Karis LeVert steps in. And then they step out, and it's looking like the refs are ready to get the ball. Then Karis LeVert steps back in the paint, acts like, oh, I need to go over here to the other side, get in on that lane. He's like, nah, I'll go back to the other side. So they wasted a whole, I think it was like a minute and 8 seconds between Grant Williams' first free throw and his second free throw. And Grant Williams made the mistake. He didn't step off the line. Whenever somebody's doing that, especially if you miss the first, every player knows you're supposed to get off the line, come back, get a fresh start, get your rhythm back. He just stood there. So all the tension is just building on him. He's just standing there, not moving. Gets the ball back, misses a second. They go to overtime. Cleveland wins in overtime. Boston has been dropping a bunch of games recently. They were up Saturday on Brooklyn 51-23. They dropped that one. Then they lose to the Knicks in double OT, and then this happened. So they been, not playing their best basketball, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But yeah, I think the Cavaliers match up really well with them versus Milwaukee and Philadelphia. Philadelphia, I think they'd be a nice matchup as well, but I don't see them beating them two teams. I just know they give Boston problems, especially Donovan Mitchell. But for the Knicks, I think the Knicks could maybe be a problem for Philadelphia, possibly beat them. But I don't think the Knicks could beat the Celtics or the Bucks in a 7-game series. But do I expect either of them to beat any of these teams? Not really. I think it's going to be out of those top three, Milwaukee, Boston, Philadelphia, it's going to be the two. One of them are going to have to play each other in semis, and then whichever one that loses, they'll be out, and then it'll be the other two in the Eastern Conference Finals. That's how I feel like it's going to shape out. But right now, it is Cleveland and New York in the 4 and 5 spot. So Cleveland has home court advantage as right now, but it's only a 2-game lead with like 16 games to go, so that could change potentially. But as far as that goes, that's where my head is at in the matchups. Just to give you more context, Milwaukee is now the first seed since Boston has been dropping games. They're 2 games behind Milwaukee. Philadelphia's 2 games behind Boston in third. So if the playoffs started today, Milwaukee would probably get the Cleveland New York winner, and then Boston would match up with Philly in the second round. So if that happens, I think Milwaukee would wax either one of them. And really, right now, how I'm feeling, I think if Boston can't get it together, I think if Milwaukee can get healthy and stay healthy, I think Milwaukee might wax everybody. Low key. Because they were on a win streak of their own before they just, dropped the game to Philly. What's going on?
Goddamn, Kevin Durant got hurt.
He got hurt
before the game. He was doing warm-ups. I'm gonna send it in the group message. He fucked up his ankle bad.
Oh, Lord Jesus. Well,
he slipped on something wet on the floor.
Oh, breaking news, y'all. Phoenix season might be in jeopardy.
Bro, that should look bad too.
Oh man, that's not good. What in the world? In warm-ups?
Bro, that's crazy, bro.
I don't even know if y'all can see this. I'm gonna try to. I don't know if this will even work. But if y'all can see, his ankle is literally folded. Oh, damn, that's not good.
That's not good at all.
And we only literally have about 3 weeks left of the season. I mean, we'll have to get Seamus to see, what his medical opinion is on this, but that looked like an ankle injury that's going to need at least 3 weeks to, for him to be solid for real. That sucks.
That's horrible.
And they got the video.
The video, yeah.
Oh.
He got up like he was okay, but you could tell like it was still bothering him.
Maybe it's just precautionary. Maybe it's just one of them. Like sometimes, like I've had ankle sprains where it's like, oh, that's a bad ankle sprain, and now I'm like real hurt. And then I've had other ones where I roll my ankle, and while it's bad in the moment, it's not bad moving forward. You just gotta, shake it off, tighten your shoelaces. But I'm gonna just hope and pray that's just precautionary because I need that Dallas Mavericks Phoenix Suns playoff matchup bad. I gotta see that 7-game series. I need it. But back to the question: do you think the Knicks or Cavaliers could beat any of the top 3 teams in the East right now in playoff series? And if so, who beats who?
I don't see neither one of them beating any of those 3 teams. I can see them coming close. I think both teams can take all 3 of them to at least 6 or 7. But do they have enough power, enough superpower, enough what's called power to
firepower?
Yeah, to beat those type of teams. And I just don't see it. Like I said, the Knicks are good and all, but when you look at Julius Randle compared to like Giannis, come on, Like Julius Randle is Knicks superstar. Giannis is the Bucks. Like what have he said? What have he said? If you look at the 76ers, bro, like it's Embiid and then it's Julius Randle. So even with the Celtics, it's Jason Tatum and Julius Randle. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think it just those three teams are just too much for them right now. And I think they'll get them out in 6. I mean, I can see maybe 7. If they squeak a game or 2 in. But yeah, I think either 6 or 7 for both teams.
Okay. You don't think Donovan Mitchell could, miraculously carry the Cavs over anybody?
I don't see it, man. I don't see it. Not those 3 teams.
Yeah, those 3 teams are kind of just in a tier of their own right now. And one of the other reasons why I don't think, like, if the Knicks matched up with Philly, I'm pretty sure, because I bet on it one game. I think it was the second to last time Philly played the Knicks. For whatever reason, Julius Randle, whenever he plays the Sixers, he gets under like 9 or 10 rebounds every time this season. Other games, you'll look at the session, he'll have like 13, 14 boards. But when he plays the Sixers, he doesn't get boards like that, and it affects the Knicks game. And that's a bad matchup there. Then, like you just said, Giannis. Can anybody in Cleveland stop Giannis? No. They got great rim protection, but nobody's going to stop him consistently. And then Drew Holiday, I think, he can do enough to frustrate Donovan Mitchell or Darius Garland. Then Chris Middleton, even though, like, he's still up and down with his injury, if he gets healthy, he's still a bucket come playoff time when you need it. Brook Lopez is really, really good.
Wow.
He underappreciated a lot.
Really.
He's really been balling out. Milwaukee is just tough. Like, and that we'll just segue into the next topic because that was one of the next questions. Do the Celtics miss Ime Udoka? Because they've, kind of been in a slump this last week or two. And I'm just like, man, I know they can't, decide what injuries happened, but last year they did, even though they went to the finals, it did take them 7 to knock out the Bucks without Middleton. If the Bucks have Middleton, and I think they're a much better team this year, can they really compete with the Bucks in a 7-game series? Especially since the Bucks now hold the 1 seed if they got the home court advantage. Right now my gut is telling me no. The Celtics just aren't consistent enough in their backcourt. Tatum, I don't know what it is. He can't string together 3 good games in a row. Jaylen Brown, he's really hot couple games and he's really cold games. To this day, I'll still say Marcus Smart, even though he's reigning defensive player of the year on the offensive end of the ball or offensive side of the ball, he holds the Celtics back and he's not a true point guard for real. I just don't know if they can do it. And last year, it was kind of reversed. They started off really bad. Then coming out of All-Star break, Ime got them together. They go on, the run to the final. This year, they were the number 1 team in the NBA at one point in time. Then the Nuggets took that, but they were still number 1 in the East. And now, these last 2 weeks, they've completely dropped the 1 seed, and it's games they should have won. They were up 51-23 on the Nets at home in the first quarter, and they went on to lose the game by double digits. That's a 38-point swing, y'all. How do you give up a 38-point swing to the Brooklyn Nets, led by Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson, at home? Then the Knicks, they were down, but they came back, get the lead, lose it at the end of the game. Then they go to overtime, can't cap it all. I want to say, I'm just going off my memory because I was watching it. I'm pretty sure Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum probably went like a combined 0 of 8 from 3 in both overtime. And they kept jacking them up, and they were not hitting whatsoever. Multiple times, like, bro, why don't y'all go to the basket or try something else? Because obviously pulling up for a contested 3 is not cutting it right now. Y'all need to get this win. Then, like I said, yesterday or 2 days ago versus Cleveland, Grant Williams, I'm going to make both free throws. Misses both of them after they blow that lead where they were up double digits. And then they going to lose in overtime. They, hired Mazzulla as a full-time coach, and he deserved it. But Do you think, the Celtics are missing Ime Udoka right now, and will they miss him this playoff stretch? Because, I mean, it's going to be a tough stretch. They're going to get Philly probably in the second round. As of right now, in the first round, they will be playing Miami, who I think they can definitely beat Miami, but Miami will play them tough. You think Ime Udoka, not being the coach anymore, shows itself more as we go towards, or we, get towards the end of the season and head into the playoffs?
I don't necessarily think so. I think, they're still a very, very good team, obviously. Every good team has, a little slump, and those little 3 games, I mean, you can say that's those obviously there were slumps or whatever. But I mean, they're not really injured like that. So I mean, they still got all their guys, they're still healthy right now. So I mean, I wouldn't say they really missing him, because I still think Joe, the coach right now, what he's doing right now, Joe, I think he's very underappreciated right now. He has a good story. He seen a story or whatever about him keeping that promise to that high school kid, that that he'll be there and coach for them when what's his name, the GM right now
Danny
had,
Ainge.
yeah, Danny Ainge that came, yeah, offering him a job or whatever. So I mean, he has a good story. He comes from a good place. I think he's underappreciated. I think he's still a good coach. Um, I'm ready to see what he'll do with these guys come playoffs time, because you obviously, well, we all know you're gonna get a different look pretty much every game in the playoffs. You won't get the same look that you get in the regular season. So I can't wait to see how he dissects other teams' defenses in the playoffs or whatnot. But I think they'll be okay. I think they'll just be fine. Now obviously it's gonna be tough going through the Bucks or going through the 76ers this time around. I think either both of those series is going 7 no matter what, in my opinion. So uh, I think they'll be fine, but time will tell.
You said that you think they're going 7 with Philly and Milwaukee if they play them?
I think so.
Mm. See, I think they could get Philly out of there in 6. But then I think Milwaukee could get them out of there in 6.
In 6.
Yeah, that's what I'm feeling as of today, right now. But basketball, obviously, like you said, such a long season. Every team is going to go through ups and downs. And right now, the Celtics are, they're on a little slide. But I mean, tonight they're getting back in their groove. They're up 22 at the end of the third right now on the Blazers. So they're back to balling tonight at least. I think their defense will be able to shut down Philly and Embiid, because come playoff time, all that flopping, it's just a given. We know now Embiid and Harden aren't going to get the same calls they get in the
Yeah,
regular
those
season,
calls. Yeah.
and once they don't get those, and I don't think their defense can stop Boston that great. I think Boston will be able to get them out in 6, and they'll have home court advantage as of right now. So I think they'll be able to steal a game or two in Philly if they need to. And then on the flip side, Milwaukee's just such a well-oiled machine. It's just really health. Giannis has been banged up, but like, he's Superman. As long as he's breathing, he gonna be out there
You're
playing.
gonna be out there.
Because he's supposed to have been sat out like for 2 separate injuries the last couple weeks. And every time they say that the night before, on like, Giannis will be out for we don't know how much time with his wrist injury, plays the All-Star game, comes back. Then I think he hurt his leg or something, and then he's back the next game. Like, we know Giannis gonna be there. Drew Holiday's still a dog. He's not technically the 6th man, I think, but what's his name? I don't know why I can't think of his name, because he hooped at West Virginia, the bald headed backup point guard. Oh god,
Yeah. What's
I
his
don't know
name?
why his name is slipping my mind right
I
now,
know you're
but
talking about though. You said bald head,
yeah,
right?
because him and Devontae used to go at it back in the day when he was at West Virginia.
He a good defender though.
Yeah, Javon Carter. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Javon Carter. He he's honestly one of the best bench/role players in the league, in my personal opinion. Like I said, Brook Lopez. You still got Bobby Portis, who could just randomly catch fire at any given moment. Grayson Allen, good for knocking out threes. And then they made a great addition in adding Jay Crowder. I think he's got playoff pedigree. And then you got Joe Ingles as well. So the roster is completely loaded. I think, even though I said Denver has one of the best rosters in the NBA, if not the best, if it wasn't them, I think Milwaukee has the best roster in the NBA, just in terms of talent and scoring and defense. And then Boston in third. So right now, my gut's telling me Milwaukee, they got it. But that could just be Milwaukee's hot right now until they just, choked the lead to Philly the other night. They were on I think a 16-game winning streak. And some of those games, Giannis wasn't playing, Middleton wasn't playing. It didn't matter who was on the court. They were just winning basketball games. So they're definitely, balling. But like I said, only time will tell. Got about a month left of this regular season. So hopefully everybody could just stay healthy. As we just seen the news of Kevin Durant. Hopefully that's nothing too serious. Hopefully, for the Lakers' sake, LeBron can get back healthy. This wasn't one of the questions we talked about before the show, but it just came to my mind, and I wanted to ask you after last night, especially because AD's been balling.
Yeah.
If Bron is able to come back and he's healthy, or he's able to play, he's not going to be 100% obviously at this point, but if he's able to be relatively Bron and AD can stay healthy, you think now that what you see with the Lakers, are you you think you're a legitimate threat, to maybe mess around and make the Western Conference Finals, or mess around, make the finals or something, upset somebody? You get Denver in the first round, you think y'all could pull that upset? How you feeling?
Man, I don't know if you ever, I'm pretty sure you got a chance to actually watch them and
really I've been watching the past couple nights. They look good.
They're a really they're really a dangerous team right now, and they're playing so well that without LeBron and D'Angelo Russell, no one's even talking about that. Not even D'Lo is out there playing right now, and you got guys like Troy Brown just stepping up, hitting crucial 3-pointers. You got Austin Reeves playing out of his mind right now. Vanderbilt playing good. Mo Bamba out right now, but once he come back, he gonna be playing good. But you just got all these guys, Malik Beasley. You've got all these guys just playing so well, and then you add on top of AD, he can finally be the centerpiece of the team while LeBron's not there. And I mean, we have to play through him now, and he's proven that he's still a arguably top 5 player in the league right now. He's still one of the best power forwards in the league right now. So they playing good basketball. I think if LeBron comes back and he's at least 80 or 75% or 70% healthy, I can see them making a little run to the Western Conference Finals. Now they'll have to win. Obviously, they'll have to win some games coming up on this little stretch that they're gonna have. That little away stretch, I believe they have towards the end of the year. They're gonna have to be some tough games. They're gonna have to win those games. Obviously, they can sneak into that. If they can sneak into that 4th seed, bro. Because I believe that with the 4th seed, they're only 4.5
the
games
West
back.
is so crazy. It's literally I'm pulling it up right now. Between the 4th and the 10th, and 3 teams after the 10th seed, because technically the New Orleans right now is the 10th seed at 31-34, but OKC, Portland, and Utah all have the same record. Utah, they got one more loss at 35, but they all got 31 wins as well. Lakers just moved into 9th place yesterday with their win. They're 32-34. But between 4th and all of them, it's only 4 games that separates everybody. And for the Lakers, that gap is now 2 with Dallas, who's in 5th. Phoenix is at 36, so a little bit more to climb there. But, I mean, if KD going to be out, Phoenix could easily start dropping some games too. They go on a stretch, they could mess around and be in the 4th seed or something, 5th seed, something crazy like that. But, I mean, I know their goal is they want to get to at least the 6 because they don't want to be in the play-in. But I mean, even if they don't, they still are really like. Say they mess around and get the 7th seed. As of right now, they would be playing Sacramento, and while Sacramento has been playing great all year, they're a young team.
You know what I'm saying?
No playoff experience. It would kind of suck for them. And, you know, all of the work they done put in, how great they've had this year. And then
Light the beam.
you're rewarded with, you get Bron and AD first round playoff. That would be extremely tough for Darren Fox and Sabonis. I feel bad for them. But that could happen. I can see them winning that. They get Memphis. Memphis, you know, they're kind of in a tough spot right now. We don't know what's up with Ja. One injury I think that's not getting talked about a lot, but I think really hurts them. They just lost Brandon Clark to a torn Achilles. He's a great power forward that brings a lot of energy, a lot of defense, and some ample scoring here and there for them. Dylan Brooks, you know, Draymond came out today, was talking his mess about him. He can't hit a shot to save his life, it seems like, even though he takes all of them. Phoenix, they don't have the depth the Lakers do. Dallas can't stop anybody. As we see right now, they down 15 to New Orleans at the start of the 4th. They can't play defense. Dallas just has to outscore you. And if they have an off night, they're done. Minnesota, nobody's scared of Minnesota. They got Rudy Gobert. Sorry for Ant, but I mean, that's just how it is. And we don't even know if they're getting Cat back. He's been gone for so long. I don't even remember what injury he had.
Yeah, I don't even know either.
Clippers, nobody's worried about the Clippers realistically. And then it's the Lakers. So West is wide open.
It really ain't crazy that it really is.
So Bron, I don't know what really is, you know, the deal with his injury. If he really can be healthy enough to play in the playoffs, hope he can be. But if he can, and if AD can somehow, knock on wood, stay healthy.
Oh my God, please, bro.
I don't know, man. I might be there with you. I'm like, dang, the Lakers might be able to. They might be able to make a run at something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's just tough. I mean, like the other night, what was it? A pass got thrown to AD. His finger, it deflected on his finger, and then he was like, oh. I was like, bro.
I was like, he can't be serious.
He can't be serious.
He can't be serious.
And then, like, yesterday, it wasn't even his fault. And he came back and balled out. He finished with 39 points, 22 rebounds on, you know, Jaren Jackson, who's a Defensive Player of the Year candidate, and probably will win it. But yesterday, he drives to the lane, goes for a rebound after, and gets slapped in his face and, like, gets a big gash cut on his nose. And he's down on the court. Then he's going back to the locker room, and it's like, oh, my God.
Poor guy.
He kind of, like, just a magnet to injury. So, if he can stay healthy, man, I don't want to, like, sip the Kool-Aid too much, but no, this Lakers roster is really nice. And they got a lot of good pieces that just know their role and have been playing it really well. Hopefully they can keep it up when LeBron comes back. If they do, that's definitely that's just like whichever first round matchup you get, if you get them, you just feel really slighted. Like, damn, really? After, you know, everything that goes on, we get the Lakers first round.
We get the Lakers.
That's the worst first round matchup. Nobody wants to see them first round on the Western Conference. So that would definitely be tough for sure. For sure. Last question was for this episode. Will the Grizzlies miss Ja? We don't know. Right now they said 4 games, but at first it was 2 games. Then it was like he'll be out indefinitely. Then his charges got cleared today. Now they're saying 4 games. Who really knows what's going on? But the Grizzlies currently sit in the 3rd seed, but they're at 38 wins. If they drop games, as we just said, that could easily be moved. They just dropped out a second by losing yesterday, and Sacramento now holds second. So they could fall if they don't, aren't able to get it together and salvage some wins while Ja is out. How much do you think they're truly affected?
I don't think at all, man. And it's really
okay. I thought I was gonna be. That's exactly where I stand too. I don't think they're affected. They play good without him.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's really crazy.
And
Like if
I
you
want
actually
my
see,
apology. I want my
nah, you're right.
apology.
You're
Because I
right.
said that earlier in the year, and y'all was like, bro, you hating on Ja. I'm like, I'm not hating on Ja. I don't know what it is, but like last year, I forgot what their exact record was, but they had
It was something crazy.
something crazy where they won like 20 or so games without him.
Yeah.
And then this year, even though they've dropped a few, they just played like more cohesive basketball, it seems like. And really, to me, the one piece that's really going to determine their success is when they can get Steven Adams back. That's really who I think they're missing to anchor down their defense behind Jaren Jackson, because Jaren Jackson still battles with foul trouble every other night, it seems like. If they can get Steven Adams, clean up the glass, be a force in the paint again, I don't think they will. I'm not saying they're about to go to the championship without y'all, but I don't think they'll have any problems. I think they would be able to handle whoever they get in the first round matchup besides the Lakers. But if they get anybody else and they still don't have Ja say come playoff time, even though I think he'll be back by then, hopefully, because I don't think he's getting suspended by the NBA. I've been seeing stuff where I guess if you have a gun on the team playing, that's automatic 50 games. I think that's like a Gilbert Arenas rule or something.
Yeah.
But I don't think they could clearly say that he had it on the plane. So he back playoff time will be straight. But say he's not back playoff time, I don't think they'll have a problem with anybody in the first round Western Conference right now without Ja. I think it will still be a competitive series where they have a great chance to win. Oh, they got a great team.
Yeah.
Bane, Tyus Jones, who, if he wasn't behind Ja, you can make the argument Tyus Jones could probably start for about half of the NBA as their point guard. Shoot. Celtics could use a Tyus Jones. If I'm being honest, Minnesota, they were the ones who traded him to Memphis. They need him. New Orleans, CJ, he's not really a point guard, but they really just missing Zion. But no, they got a solid group.
Yeah.
So you don't think they would be hindered at all either?
No, not really. And the only reason, one of the biggest reasons why I'm saying that is because when you think about it, bro, when a team tell you, incident like this, and a team come out and say, just indefinitely come back and indefinitely, bro, that's like your own team doing basically your own team is saying we can win without you. Like go rehab, go do whatever you want. You're supposed to be a superstar, but your team feel like they can win without you. That's tough. That's tough.
True.
That is tough. So seeing that and seeing that they said that about him pretty much. I mean, yeah. I mean, if they're literally telling you that you not being here has no effect over us, then obviously you got to say they don't have no effect. So I mean, it's tough. That's tough for him, man. It is. It's tough. You was right. I apologize. You was right.
Chris, when you watch this, I'm gonna just text it. I'm gonna text the group. Chris, I want my apology now. But yeah, man, it was even crazier. And this more on the the stuff that's actually going on with y'all. I hope he gets whatever help he needs and fixes it. Because I think it was Nick Wright who said this too. But when you think about it, Ja, as far as the future of the league, Ja is one of the few athletes right now who legitimately could make $1 billion in his career.
Yes, yes.
I think they said
chokehold.
Yeah, I think because the NBA is about to go up for a new TV contracts within I think next year or 2 years from now, so that's gonna up the max cap space you can have, and I think they said max contracts players are gonna be able to make maybe 70 mil a year, 65, 70 mil a year. He'll be eligible for Supermax. He's just got his shoe deal with Nike. He's gonna be, he got another deal with Powerade. He's gonna be the face of a lot of brands if he, can get his image together and get his act together. Plus, the money he's gonna make with the Supermax contract. He legitimately can make $1 billion easy. and all he's got to do is get his act. I don't know why he wants to be a thug.
Bro, it don't make sense. It don't make sense
The
at
thugs
all.
be trying to make it into the NBA. You trying to make it out of the NBA. Like, what is you doing, John? Come on.
It don't even make sense, bro.
It don't. Like, just get it together. And then I think it was you who sent in the group chat. Steven Adams had literally had a team meeting the night before the whole incident with him on Instagram Live. And he still went in the club and did that super stuff. Like, I get it. Because me and John are literally the same age. And everybody our age, they not NBA players. They're not social media superstars. So their life isn't broadcast to the level his is. And all of us be partying, you know, doing whatever, whoop-de-woo. But even though it's not fair necessarily, it is what it is. Like, it's the life you live. It's the generation we live in. Dude, you cannot be projecting everything you do on social media. Because now all the clips are resurfaced, even though some of them are old. And I kind of knew something was a little bit wrong, but I didn't want to say nothing this summer. But he's always drinking alcohol, and he don't just be taking shots. He be drinking straight liquor.
Bro, straight, like...
Drinking Casamigos like his apple juice.
The airplane video, bro?
Yes,
like...
bro. And I think, I'm pretty sure earlier this summer, I was on his Instagram Live at one point. He was in the house with some friends. And they were just taking turns passing by, and they just finished. I'm just like, bro, you a top tier athlete. Don't do that to your body. Like, you shouldn't want to do that to your body. So, like, I just hope and pray he gets his act together. That way the NBA doesn't have to make an example out of him. And like we said, the charges got dropped, thank God. They couldn't, prove with enough evidence, that the gun belonged to him or he brought on the team playing. So he got saved there. Now that you got saved, you better make the most of, this second opportunity you finna get. Just get your act together, dude. Like, you got, a young, great team in Memphis. I don't think y'all are going to win the championship this year, even if you do come back. But who's to say next year, depending on what offseason moves you can make? Like, you have a bright future. Please do not screw this up. He's supposed to be, one of the faces moving forward, of this next generation, whenever, LeBron retires. But he's definitely a part of that crop. It's Luka, Tatum, him, Giannis. That's really the four I can think of right now. I don't know if anybody else really deserves to be in that. I guess Jokic, but I don't really consider him that young of a player because I think he's like low 30s, I think. But as far as like this next generation, he's definitely one of the players that we're looking up to. So I just pray and hope he gets it together and gets whatever help he needs. Gets off. I mean, you don't even got to put up the alcohol and the drugs completely. Just don't do it so much.
Don't do it, yeah.
And when you do it, don't put it on the
internet, bro. Don't put.
It's like, say, say one of us are famous, and you wanted to smoke or something. You walking your dog, and you done pulled out the blunt, and someone saw you walking your dog and took a picture and posted to the internet. It's kind of like, oh, you kind of have it out there because, like, you didn't necessarily want that getting out. It's not like you broadcast that. Someone did it, took your picture unknowingly and broadcast that. That's completely different, but saying, like, you take your dog on a walk and you post a picture of you and the dog with the blunt, like, hey, walking my dog. Like, it's completely different. And that's essentially what he did with the gun. Like, he broadcasted and put himself out there. Nobody made him do that.
Nobody made him do that, bro.
But he in Instagram Live, yeah, I got the blicky. And then all the other incidents that have been coming out. Apparently, he punched some high school kid that he had over his house playing pickup. Then his mom had problems with a Finish Line employee. He done pulled up 10 deep at the mall talking about he want to see him when he get off work. Like, dude, you do not have to be a thug. And I don't know what friends you got around you or the day ones, but
get away from them.
Get away.
They don't like you. They obviously don't like you.
They clearly don't like you at all because they do not have your best interests at heart. And then T. Morant be at his dad. He be at every game.
When your dad?
What did you do?
What are you doing?
I don't understand, man.
Mama, grandma, y'all see this man on the plane drinking like crazy?
Somebody
like I said, they scared of him. That's what it is. They scared of him. They scared of him, man. He
They can't make him mad.
yeah, playing that young boy loud as hell. I'll be
Yeah, man.
scared as hell doing that around my grandma.
Oh man. I get it, John. You young, you 23, 24, but like you gotta make some changes, dude. You got to before it's over. They will make an example out of your black ass. They will.
They ready to.
They are ready. He lucky David Stern ain't alive and the NBA committee. David Stern would have had him about this league. At least suspended for the rest of this year with all the messes going on. You're not gonna tarnish my name and this league's name behind this foolishness. So yeah, man, he better get it together. He better get it together for sure. But that's a wrap on this episode. Sorry for missing last week. We were just real busy. Unfortunately, I'm just giving y'all a heads up now. I don't think we're gonna be able to film next week because I gotta go to out of state work training, so I'll be out all week. But since it's basketball, hopefully by then, I think we'll be able to get our first round of the NCAA tournament, I think, next weekend. So we'll be able to talk about that. We'll probably start a podcast like bracket, group on the little ESPN app. We could probably do that for some bread. I know I got some homeboys that probably be down. I'm sure you do too.
Oh, for sure.
So we'll definitely be on the lookout for that. We'll tweet that out and stuff. But yeah, man, just caught up with life, but lots of basketball to catch up on the last 2 weeks, and kind of like it that way because there's so many games. You kind of need to see like a 2 weeks of games to kind of get something to really talk about because, like I said, it's up and down, long season, but we're nearing the end. We're about to get playoff basketball, and there's nothing better than playoff basketball. Nothing better than March Madness. One of the greatest periods of the sports year. And this year, Final Four is in Houston, so we got to make a trip to, the Final Four experience or whatever it's called or something like that. Yeah. Hopefully Chris will be down here during then too. We can roll with him and have a, podcast or vlog for that. But yeah, man, lots in store, lots to come. So we appreciate y'all tuning in, running up the views, liking, commenting. We appreciate all that love, man. Y'all who we do it for. We just some friends talking sports, and we're going to keep it going, man. Can't wait for the NBA playoffs to come up, man. And the NFL draft in a month or so, we'll probably be talking about that. We don't got much to talk about. We got some stuff to talk about in the NFL, but we're going to wait, bring all that together in the podcast. Free agency just started early this weekend.
They're going crazy.
A whole lot of mess been going on. They
do my boy wrong, man.
They doing Lamar so wrong, man. It's not collusion, but we all know what it is, man.
We know.
But that's
like Kendrick said, we know why.
We know why. Carry on, though. But, that's a conversation for another day. It's your favorite kids from the neighborhood signing off. Myself, Bryce, my dog, Kam. We out.
I need it.